Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Cormandy from the Airgun channel My Airgun Reviews, and today we're going to be looking at the USA version of the Crosman Redtail bright barrel pellet rifle. This is the USA version of the Crosman Redtail. I was not going to do a review on it because I saw several up, but then I realized that all those reviews were UK versions, which are lower power. They're limited 12 foot-pounds muzzle energy. So we're going to review the USA version. This gun is powered by Crosman's nitro piston. It's 45.5 inches long. It has a 20.3 inch barrel from the breech to the end of the muzzle. It has 30 pounds of cocking effort. The rifle weighs 6.25 pounds. It's rated at 1200 feet per second shooting alloy pellets, 1000 feet per second shooting lead pellets. And they claim 18 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. This gun is really, from here back, this gun is a Crosman crusher. The only difference between the crusher and this one is the crusher only comes in 22 caliber and this one comes in 177 and 22 caliber. And the barrels are the only difference. Both caliber, and the Crosman crusher has a steel shrouded barrel. This one has a polymer shroud with 5 baffles in here. And you'll see that when we do the close-up. As a matter of fact, why don't we take a close-up look at this gun right now. Okay, here you can see the shroud, and when I shine the light you can see inside the chambers. And I'll do this right, so you can see the hollow chambers in there that disrupt the air. And that goes all the way through here. And then the rest of the stock and receiver are identical to the Crosman crusher. The scope, the dovetail mounts, and Crosman's trigger and manual safety, and the rest of the stock, and kind of a hard rubber butt pad. Okay, like the crusher, this gun is very affordable. I've seen it as low as $115.02 plus free shipping on Amazon.com, up to $139.99, average price being around $129.99. But at $115.02 with free shipping, this gun is an excellent deal. Okay, it's rated at 1200 feet per second shooting alloy pellets. This gun achieved a high of 1152 with an average of 1132 feet per second shooting the RWS Hypermax 5.2 grain alloy pellets. It had an extreme spread of 35.54 and only averaged 14.8 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. However, the gun did very well shooting the RWS Hobby 7 grain lead pellets. It's rated at 1000 feet per second. We had a low of 1013 feet per second, a high of 1034, averaging 1024, 20.53 foot per second extreme spread, standard deviation 8.77, average of 16.3 foot-pounds muzzle energy. And our best pellet was the H&N Cro-Magnum 9.26 grain. It had a low of 893.3, a high of 904.0, average 898.4. Extreme spread 10.74, standard deviation 4, generating 16.6 foot-pounds of muzzle energy on average. And it also shot the JSB match exact very well. They're an 8.44 grain pellet, averaging 917.6 feet per second. Extreme spread was only 8.89, standard deviation 3.46. That generated 15.78 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. The other notable pellet was the H&N Terminator. It did good on 12 yards, but it spread out a little bit at 20 yards. But that one also had an average FPS of 1,003 feet per second. It's a 7.25 grain pellet and generated 16.2 foot-pounds muzzle energy. So it has decent power for a Magnum Springer. It falls about 3 foot-pounds of muzzle energy shy of the Crosman Crusher 22 caliber. That could just be the difference in the pellet weight, but all in all, this is still very decent power for a Magnum Springer. With all the other Crosmans that I have reviewed, I have always done a modification to the trigger, either installing a roller bearing in the trigger to make it shorter and smoother, or switching out the trigger adjusting screw with a longer one to get a little more adjustment. I looked everywhere, I cannot find my bag of screws. So with this one, I just turned the screw all the way in and actually got a usable trigger out of this one. It wasn't quite up to the specs of the ones that I modified, but it was usable. And I also use the stock scope on this one. Usually with the Crosmans, with the cheap 4x32s, I switch out the scope for a better scope to do better accuracy tests. This one I could actually get a clear sight objective and reticle at 12 yards and 20 yards, even though at 20 yards a 4x32 scope is not very good, but that is what I use for the entire review. So this review is the gun just the way it comes from Crosman. No extra scopes, no trigger modifications or anything. And I was in kind of a rush to get the 20-yard accuracy test in. I was doing real good on the indoor accuracy test, and then by the time I got to the outdoor test, I waited a couple hours too long, and the temperature had dropped about 8 degrees, and the wind kicked up from 10 miles an hour to gusting up to 32 miles an hour. So it was not a fun target shoot, and with the drop in temperatures I was shivering, and the wind was gusting. It wasn't the best target shoot in the world, but with all said and done, even with the stock 4x32 scope, I think this gun did okay. It would have been much better if I'd had a better scope and it had been less windy and warmer, but the bottom line is, both targets, had they been rabbits or squirrels, they would have been in the stew the next day. Now, first, I'm going to put up the power numbers so you can see all the power for each pellet, and then when we're done with that, we'll go out to the accuracy test at 20 yards. So, as you can see, there was a little shooter error involved. You know, I pulled one pellet way right, dropped one down low, but all in all, for rushing it, trying to get it done, get back inside, and with the stock trigger and with the stock scope, I think the target shoot went pretty good. You know, for the price of the gun, the weight of the gun, the 30 pounds of cocking effort, I think it's really a pretty good value. It's definitely has the power to humanely eliminate garden pests and farmyard pests and so on. And it's an attractive gun. You got the red inlays in the muzzle, and you know, as far as sound goes, I would say it's very equal to the Crosman Crusher. I don't think that this 5-shot baffling or this 5-baffle sound moderator made it any quieter than the Crosman Crusher was. Of course, this is a 177 caliber with the pellets traveling much faster, but it's about the same noise level as the Crusher was in 22 caliber. So it's a backyard friendly gun, and like I say, it's an affordable gun, and it can be very accurate. You know, in the 12-yard indoor, I was getting sub-quarter-inch groups, and at 20 yards, the main groups were about 3/4 of an inch, and you know, with pulling the pellet here or there, but all in all, considering the adverse circumstances for the target shoot, this gun did very well. And I would highly recommend this gun for the 115.02 with the free shipping. So please, like I asked you earlier in the video, if you do not see ads on this, that means they flagged it again. So please watch it multiple times, share it with your friends, get them to watch it, and if you can, contact YouTube and say, hey, we need these videos. So anyway, that is my review of the Crosman Redtail 177 caliber. My name is Kenny Cormandy, and thank you for watching.